Hey, Dee Dee.
Hey, Dina.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
So, what are you reading there?
Reading this book, Dina.
Dee Dee, I'm reading the same book.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
It's magnificent.
It
I
is
love it. I'm
magnificent.
learning things. I'm remembering things, rereading things.
Exactly.
It's a blessing. So, what is your favorite lesson from Prayer and Pound Cake?
Well, I have several favorite lessons from Prayer and Pound Cake. And day 1 is one of my favorites. But day 4 I think, is probably the top for me. Day 4 is Know Your Value. And it really is. It's a quick read, and I really enjoy it. So let me, just for those of you who purchased the book, great. Those of you who have not, you can purchase the book. But I want to read this little quick part from day 4 about knowing your value. Before, a prominent New York City newspaper was preparing to print advertisements and coupons for Black Friday, its printing press began to have fits. This is, of course, a nightmare because Black Friday is one of the most profitable days of the retail and advertising year. The young technicians in the print shop tried everything they could to fix the printing press, but the nearly 60-year-old equipment would not cooperate. It appeared to be busted with no avenue for repair. Finally, the situation became so dire that the owner of the paper was alerted. He remembered Jerry, a former employee who had long since retired. The owner said, "Get Jerry on the line. If he can't fix it, no one can." So the production manager called Jerry, making apologies for the hour. The urgency in his voice made it clear to Jerry that they had tried everything and were at their wits' end. Jerry, having spent a wonderful Thanksgiving with his family, told the manager not to worry, he would be right over. When Jerry arrived, the room was filled with young, clueless technicians. The old expert walked around the giant machine, stood back, walked to the dashboard of buttons and widgets. He pressed one button, and the printing press began to roar. The room erupted in cheers and laughter. They were back in business and were able to print the newspaper for the next edition. The following week, the owner received a letter in the mail from Jerry, thanking him for the business. He also enclosed his invoice for $10,000. The owner was outraged. Jerry had been there for 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes max. The owner called Jerry and asked him to send an itemized invoice. He believed that when forced to itemize his services, Jerry would reduce his rates. Jerry quickly replied with the new invoice. There were 2 line items listed: $1 for pushing the button and $9,999 for knowing which button to push. You know which buttons to push in your business. Set your rates accordingly and do not back down. Know your value. Every time I read that story, I giggle and I get so excited for Jerry.
Yes. I love that story. In the book we talk about people tell that story in different ways. We like this version obviously because it's a printing press. We're media folks. But I think the lesson for us has been, and we learned it the hard way, but don't take wooden nickels. You know
Exactly.
your value. You know how hard you worked to earn the knowledge that you have. So don't discount yourself. And if you have to read this day 4, lesson 4, over and over again,
Like we have.
like we have, then do it. But you know your value. Don't back down. We hope that you will get your copy of Prayer and Pound Cake. You can do it by going to prayerandpoundcake.com or going to Amazon and just typing in Prayer and Pound Cake, and you can get the ebook or the paperback. So thank you so much.